Okay, so as I mentioned in this section, I want to look at essay structure. This might be one of the bigger differences between the arrest reports and incident reports that you're used to taking, in that with this we do want actual essay structure. So if you think back to maybe when you were in high school, if you were in college, you're typically taught that an essay has three parts: an introduction, body paragraphs, and a conclusion. Um, and Probably when you first learned it, you were taught that three body paragraphs, five body paragraphs, whatever it is. In an essay of the length that you'll be asked to write for this, I would say between three and five. And I will tell you some of the things people have done that have caused them issues with this. I have had people submit essays that were just bullet points, or essays that were just single sentences. Um, Also, keep in mind something you were probably taught when you were younger is that a paragraph should be between 3 and 7 sentences. Probably taught 4 to 6, but I'm going to say 3 to 7. Um, you definitely don't want less than three, and you want to avoid single sentence paragraphs. If in a longer writing, you might be able to get away with a single sentence paragraph, but with what you're being asked to do, you probably don't want that. Um, so let's look at each point and think about it in terms of what you might be asked to write. And I'm going to repeat this. I use an example in this. That example is not necessarily what you're going to be asked to write about. In the past, this may have been a topic. Sometimes they recycle topics. I don't know the topic until the test has been administered. So, don't take what I'm saying and say, oh, that's what he's saying the essay is going to be about. No, I don't know what the essay is going to be about. So that is also important. Read what you're asked for. So let's talk about the introduction here first. Your introduction is start with, what are you being asked to do? Read that question and really figure out what it is they're asking you to do, and then write a sentence by filling in the blank. In this essay, I will. So let's say the assignment asks you to describe the best training you've ever received as a police officer. You might write, in this essay, I will explain why report writing for police officers was the best training I've attended since I became a police officer. It's helpful for you to write that sentence right from the beginning, whether if you have a piece of scratch paper, if you can write it on that, or just type it at the top of your page, and always refer to that. And when you're writing, make sure that what you're writing in some way addresses that topic. This is a big problem. So when I grade essay structure / content, the only two things I look at is, first, is there essay structure? Is there a clear beginning, middle, and end? And the second one is, do they address the topic? I do not grade on how persuasive you are. So maybe, in this topic, you would say the best training I ever received was, well, let's say this, report writing. Maybe I don't agree with you. Maybe you don't support your argument well. I don't grade that. I don't grade on, they've got a good essay structure. They're focused on the topic. I just don't think they do a good job of it. No, that's not for me to decide. I'm just deciding, have you addressed the topic? So, for example, here's where some people get off track. Let's use this example here. So you read this, and instead of saying the best training you've ever attended, you write an essay about how you would train whatever topic you like. Let's say you are a firearms person, or a DTU person, or traffic stop person, whatever it is, and you say, oh, here's my chance to explain how I would teach that. Well, that's not what you're being asked. You're not being asked to tell how you would teach that topic. It's asking you to recall a class you took that you felt was the best. Okay? So that is your thesis. Remember, the thesis is typically the last sentence of your introduction. So before that, you might say something like, in my 14 years as a police officer, I have attended many trainings, some by the division, some elsewhere, whatever it is, and then end with, in this essay, I'll explain, or I will show, or tell, or whatever, why this is the best. So start with that sentence, fill it in, and that will be your focus. The body paragraphs. As I said, between 3 and 5 body paragraphs, I probably think with the essay of the length you're writing is appropriate. Remember, though, each paragraph, each body paragraph is only meant to address one specific aspect of the topic. So once you get that thesis sentence, in this essay I will blank, then maybe you jot down 3 or 4 things that will help explain that. So with this example I've used, okay, so report writing. What are my examples? Well, let's see, the topic itself was important. The way it was taught was good for me. I understood it, and the instructor, maybe there was something about that instructor. Each one of those points then becomes a body paragraph topic sentence. So whereas the thesis is kind of the overall, in this essay I will, the topic sentences say in this particular paragraph. Now I'm going to use different wording, so let me not dwell on that here. So let's say I'm using this essay I've set up, body paragraph number 1. The training addresses writing. This training addresses writing arrest reports, which is a vital part of being a police officer, and that I would explain how that was addressed and maybe give evidence of why it's vital. Maybe the training itself said, hey, this is why it's vital. I'm going to support that. Then my second body paragraph is the trainer presented information in a manner that really helped me to grasp the topic. So again, the following sentences will provide details for that. What specific manner of teaching did that instructor use? What was it about the way that was taught that especially you found interesting, helpful, what have you. Then the third one is the instructor was the best I've ever seen, and you provide details to explain why that was the case. And as I mentioned, the sentences of the topic sentence would supply details that support those statements. So then the last one is the conclusion. Let me talk a little bit about where people have problems with this. First of all, I have seen people not have a conclusion. They will put that third body paragraph and then just end. And as a reader, I'm kind of left wondering, what, did they just run out of time? Did they actually mean to end it there? Why did this end so abruptly? The second thing is, you do not want to introduce anything new in the conclusion. That's not for... Your conclusion is placed to wrap things up, to summarize, to bring the whole thing to an end. So just as I mentioned with the opening to say, in this essay I will do blank, it's nothing wrong with starting the conclusion with, with this essay I have done this. So where at the beginning you're saying you will do this, at the end remind us what you have done. In this essay I've explained why the class report writing for police officers is the best I've ever had. And then you can even summarize your topic sentences. I explained why the topic is important, how the instructional methods helped convey the topic, and how the instructor made the training effective. And that's a 3-sentence conclusion. It's just that simple. Explain what you set out to do, and then explain how you did it. So to recap this part, make sure it's essay format. Clear introduction, clear conclusion, clear body paragraphs. Make sure it is focused on the topic you are actually assigned. If you are not sure what you're being asked, maybe you can talk to the proctor. I don't know, whoever that is, if he or she can give you any more advice, but if they can, you say, hey, look, I'm not exactly sure what you're asking me for here. And say, are you asking me, maybe you're saying you're going to ask me for blank. They may not be able to answer, I don't know. But make sure you understand what you're being asked for. Write that thesis statement. Jot down those 3 or 4 or 5 specific points you want to develop to prove what you're saying, and in conclusion, just wrap it up. Restate those things. Simple, simple, simple. Simple sentences, word choices you know, structure and style that you know. Hopefully you can tell I find this topic for me is a very important topic. If you have questions, feel free to email me, cjkane@columbuspolice.org. My office number is 0457, that's my extension. Some of you may have my cell phone number. Feel free to give me a call. My cell phone number has been the same since 1998, so if you have my number, chances are it's a good number. I have Thursday, Friday, Saturday off. My duty hours are 2 to midnight. Generally between, say, 2 and 9, I'm almost always here. I have some variable hours, but anyway. If there's anything I can help you with, I will. When it's all said and done, I provide a detailed explanation of the errors that were found. Ask to take a look at it. If you don't understand what was written, feel free to talk to me, and I will do what I can to try to help you out. I wish you luck. and I hope you achieve what you're trying to achieve with this division. Thanks.